Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're doing a new, we're using a different software today to record the podcast because I was like, I have Logic Pro and I really want to utilize it because I got it for free.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not use something with pro in it?
Exactly.
That just means it'll be better, right?
And that's one more way that Apple is really bringing it home for a lot of people. They're like, you know
Right?
what? Let's create another software. It's going to
Pro.
have 4 better aspects to it, and we're going to call it Pro.
Yeah.
And we're going to make people think that professionals use it.
I know, right? Like, I kind of want are they called AirPod Pros? Air Max Pros?
Air Max Pro. AirPod Max, the over-the-ear ones. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. AirPod Max.
I just can't justify spending $900 on it.
Yeah. There's somebody in our neighborhood I saw on Facebook Marketplace, and they were selling their AirPod Max for $500. And it came with like the authenticity. They even have the receipt to prove that they purchased it.
That seems cheap. What did they do to it?
Well, so they say that they're not using them or that they don't want them anymore. They're impractical or whatever. They just don't need them. And they've probably had them for a couple years.
Yeah.
And who's going to pay full price for used headphones?
Very true. When did they come out?
I feel like that was like a 2018.
Wow, really? Time flies.
2019? 2019.
Wow.
I know.
I feel like they just kind of came out, and I don't remember seeing any buzz about them before they came out.
No. I don't remember seeing any buzz about them after
I just
they came out
remember
either.
seeing people wearing them. I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah, I feel like those headphones were definitely it's just another way for people to show that they have an Apple product. Because remember back in the day, so Apple released their like earpods. What is that what they call them?
AirPods?
No, not earpods.
Oh.
Like the original headphones that had the cord on them.
Yeah.
And the reason why they made them white instead of black, like every other brand, is that they wanted people to be able to show the world that they are using an Apple product. And it was just another way that people can show their status as an Apple user. Same reason why Apple products come with that Apple sticker. There's no other reason to have that Apple sticker in those things other than being able to put that sticker on like your car or like anything like
laptop.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're really working through that.
Yeah. Anyways, I kind of want them, but just can't justify that.
Same.
So now I'm trying to find over-ear headphones that are wireless. But anyway.
I feel like Beats would be a good option. Like the big Beats.
Yeah.
Big Beats. I like Beats headphones.
Yeah, they're all right.
You're like, no,
I don't know.
I'm not doing that. I'm a really big fan of Audio-Technica.
Yeah.
I believe there are wireless options, but I feel like Audio-Technica is more of like an audio engineering product.
Yeah.
They're not so worried about like the entertainment aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize this, that a lot of headphones that they have like, so the output of the device that you're plugging the headphones into has like a certain hertz or like a power output. And if your headphones don't like equal that, or if your headphones need more power from the output or outsource, then they're not going to be able to pick up all of the things, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so like, and I say this because of my Oculus, because I have earbuds in that, and earbuds are generally like, you just need like the treble and the bass and you're fine.
Yeah. Pretty simple.
Yeah. But I was plugging in my Audio-Technica ones in because they go over the ear. They're more comfortable and whatever. Not so much noise canceling, but whatever. But I don't think that the Oculus puts out enough power to be able to have that as your headphones. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
But when you're not thinking about it.
Audio's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
I love noise canceling headphones, but are you ever self-conscious about like noises you make when you are wearing noise canceling headphones? So
Yeah, please.
I have trouble breathing out of my nose, okay?
Okay.
I always have. I have messed up sinuses. It's just a thing. So I'm always nervous when I have headphones in because I can't hear myself breathing, that I'm like walking down the street and people are like, you're breathing really loud. So anyway, I'm just always conscious of that.
Have you ever had somebody comment on
No,
loud breathing?
I'm just so like, I don't know, self-conscious of it, I guess. Especially if I'm like biking or walking fast because I can't breathe through my nose, right?
Yeah. And so everybody knows, like, Michaela's had surgery on her sinuses to like actually make this better. I had a friend back home who had the same sinus surgery. Mm-hmm. She always had sinus infections. She always had just sinus issues in general. And there's definitely a breathing, like an audible breathing that comes from people who have sinus issues.
Like, I've never been able to successfully, you know, when you're running on the treadmill or like whatever, they're like, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth.
Yeah. I
can't breathe in through my nose enough to support like running. Because I'm like, you're going to have all these sound effects of me breathing.
I think the reason why they say breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth is because that you're supposed to be taking in a lot more oxygen when you're running, right? Yeah. So your inhales are deeper, but your nose has like natural filters to the air so that you won't be like inhaling debris.
Yeah. Bugs.
Ew. Ugh.
Yeah, that never worked for me.
It's that time of year right now for the nasty bugs.
The little tiny cluster bug season. I hate that.
What are they called?
I just call them gnats. I don't know what they're actually called.
I think gnats are smaller than these, but yeah, they're kind of like mosquitoes, kind of like flying ants.
Mm-hmm. They're gross.
They're disgusting, and they love to land on your lips. Mm-hmm. That was a hiccup.
And if you can't breathe, they go right in your mouth. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. How many have you eaten this year?
Oh, multiple. Well, maybe not this year, but if I'm biking, multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to wear like a filter face mask or something.
Right? Just bringing back the masks.
I kind of liked masks.
Okay. So remember when we had to wear masks everywhere we went?
Yeah.
And I think you said on the podcast one time, you're like, I like wearing a mask because all I have to do is my eye makeup and I don't have to worry about like the rest of the makeup and like that kind of thing. So yesterday I went to Fernando's work. What am I calling it? A
work
staff party?
Staff party?
Yeah. So it's Founders Week, right? Mm. That's what it's called. And they had this one girl, two girls actually. And it was a 70s theme party. So everybody was wearing like disco or like something along those lines. There's a lot of sequins. And there was these two dancers that were like hired by the agency to like perform there, I guess. And they had these giant disco ball helmets with just like little slits in there for eyes. And I was saying to Fernando, I was like, do you think these girls are enjoying the fact that they get to wear these helmets because they probably didn't have to do their makeup for work today? And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure they did their makeup. And then at one point I saw them doing like their social media posts and like that kind of thing. Yeah. And they were wearing makeup and they contoured the absolute shit out of their face. I was like, wow, you committed.
I feel like you'd have to put makeup on because what if someone was like, can we take a picture? Like take your helmet off. And I'd be like, I'm going to keep it on, actually.
I'd like to keep it on.
I'd like to keep it on.
Yeah.
Do you still encounter a lot of people wearing masks still?
More than I thought it would.
Yeah.
There is a lot of people out there that are still wearing like the masks.
Yeah.
And I find it yeah, go for it, like do your thing. Not really too worried about that. But at the same time, like I feel like there was a time when I was hearing a lot of people saying like studies show that during the pandemic, surgical masks and like this mask and this mask were actually doing less good than we thought they were.
Yeah.
Or like they weren't blocking as much as we thought. I'm also seeing like on social, but it's like promoting studies, I guess. So like I kind of, not that I believe them, but I definitely acknowledge them and think about them more. But they were saying that the amount of cleaning supplies and the disinfectants that we were using during the pandemic they're now finding have done more harm than good to people using them.
I mean, I think that makes sense. You're like
Yeah.
disrupting your natural like defense
Ecosystem.
system, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, like even like look at people in the South there that weren't people like injecting bleach into themselves?
I don't
Like
know
wasn't that
how
a thing?
anyone thought that made sense.
I don't know. But there was also people they thought that drinking Corona out of a can versus out of a bottle, like Corona beer, they thought that drinking it out of a can was better for you to not catch coronavirus. I was like,
People.
this is very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All I'm gonna say is just like read scientific studies if you have issues. You know, like there's so many out there. Instead of relying on social media, because things obviously get so twisted in the media.
It's also so
There's so
easy
many
to change the
journals.
narrative.
Yeah, there's so many like scientific journals, and they tell you exactly what they found. And
And there's multiple scientific journals that are actually contradicting each other as well. So it's kind of like an essay where they're arguing their points. So
yeah.
yeah.
What gets me still with the whole mask thing, like if you want to wear a mask, like totally, I'm all for it. But it's the way that they're wearing their masks, I think, is what
Okay.
makes me laugh. So they won't have masks on in the restaurant,
Yeah.
but the second I walk over, they'll put their mask on. I'm like, but you're already in the restaurant, and I'm
Yeah.
at other tables. Like you're already in it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like you're in the thick of it right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, that's
Also, do you think I'm gonna give you COVID? Interesting.
yeah, I think that was also something within like that time where if somebody put a mask on around me, or if I was running and people would like move or like cover their face when I was running past them, it was kind of like, you think I'm the problem right now? Like I go outside for 30 to 40 minutes a day of exercise, which is like making my immune system better,
Yeah.
right? So
It's
yeah.
it's just funny how things are circulating around you all the time, and like, oh, just putting my mask on for those 2 seconds, like
Yeah,
that's gonna
exactly.
protect me. It's just funny.
Yeah. Also, the
Not quite,
taking it
but
off and putting it back on, like you've definitely covered that thing in bacteria at this point. It's
yeah,
probably not going to do anything for
right?
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so strange.
We also have heard recently that we are like the pandemic is no longer a
Like threat kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Like we're out of the threat zone. I heard this probably about a month ago or so. But yeah, I don't know how we got onto pandemic.
I don't know either, but just to kind of swing off that, different but it's kind of the same. Have you heard that the Liberal Party is trying to bring in what's it called? Sorry, someone told me this. Like a living allowance every month
Okay.
to like bring up Basically to like supplement people's incomes
Okay.
to match what the living wage would be in Ontario.
What
Did you
it
see
would
that?
be?
Or what it should be, yeah.
Oh.
So they're basically, and it doesn't really make sense to me because I think they're averaging out all of Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically seeing like what things cost, how it costs to live, what we should be making, and then they're
Yeah.
kind of averaging that out to give like a living allowance.
Yeah. Okay.
But Toronto is like $23 an hour,
Oh my
and
gosh.
like small town North Ontario is like 17.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how they would average that out.
Yeah. I don't know. Like maybe if it's like Statistics Canada calling and like seeing like what your, well, no, because your postal code is on your T4s and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So it should be. I don't know if I believe in that. I think that if like I think the cost of living just needs to come down. I don't know how you're going to do it,
I know.
but I don't think increasing the income level is going to aid in the cost of living situation because it's just going to go up again.
Yeah.
I saw like all over Instagram and Facebook that there's this like this again, what do they call them? Like professionals or industry people are saying that in like the next that in the future a one bedroom apartment in Toronto will be $3,000 a month. Like that's what the industry people are saying. And I don't know who you think is going to be able to afford $3,000 a month for a one bedroom. And let's be honest here, that's probably going to be a 500 square foot one bedroom apartment that doesn't have a window in the bedroom.
Yeah.
You know?
And what's the normal amount to be spending on rent? Is it 30% of your income? Is that what they say?
I think it's supposed to be like a third of your monthly
30.
income or something like that.
Ooh, yeah, that's so what do we have to be making, like $10,000 a month to
Yeah.
afford? Or no, I guess not 10.
About
No,
9.
9, yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know anybody who isn't paying a ridiculous amount of rent. It's just, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
And there's the one guy on TikTok where he's doing like, let's compare Canadian housing to actual castles in Europe. And it's like this house in the East End of Toronto, and it's like so terrible. Like it doesn't have drywall on the inside. The bathroom's unfinished. The kitchen is like in shambles, but it has like an old fridge and stove in it. And they're like in the description, it's like a great fixer-upper, or like a really great way for you to do to have like income or a supplemental income or whatever they're calling it. And they're like, and the selling price is $1.2 million Canadian. Now for the same amount of money in whatever town in England, this 4,000 square foot home, and it's like goes it's a castle, like it's actually a castle, and they go through and it's beautiful, and it'll be like $100,000 less in equal value, like from pounds to Canadian dollar. And they're like, and with the extra $100,000 that you are saving from that, you can buy this home as well. And it's like, it's just absolutely ridiculous how much they think that we're going to be able to spend.
It's also, even if you can afford a $3 million house in Toronto, you are working around the clock just to pay it off or to live in your $3,000 apartment. Like, I don't want to work all the time.
Yeah.
And then you're depressed. And then, like, this is the cycle of, like, terrible mental health. And, like, it's just crazy. I was looking at something in I think it was on Instagram as well. And it was this girl talking about living in Sweden. I think it was Sweden. Sweden or Switzerland. I think it was Sweden. And she's like, yeah, we work like 30 hours a week and rent is very affordable. And they actually tell you to take like a month off, like paid vacation. And they're all about like taking time off and all your mental health services are covered. And like, it's crazy the difference.
Well, and like one of the main things that I think like one of the main arguments that a lot of people have for like that type of lifestyle is that like people who came to Canada however many years ago, they were just a working class, right? Like it was like they farmed early morning until late at night, right? And then they got minimal sleep. And then after that generation, it was people who were working 2 jobs and supporting their family and like that kind of thing. So like they just, that long work life type of thing just never went away. But now we're getting to a point where being able to afford a future in any way, shape, or form is so astronomically unattainable that we're like, honestly, I just don't want to work my entire life. I know I'll never own anything. I know my retirement will probably never really happen, but I just don't want to work the entire time.
It's just sad because how are people affording to have children? How, like, there's
idea.
no way. And like, what's the main cause of all these, well, a huge factor in like mental health and different like ailments that people are dealing with nowadays is stress. Like, stress is a huge factor in a lot of...
Stress does weird things to the body.
Like crazy. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. We're all sick and can't afford anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you even tackle that? Where do you start? Because...
Well, and then like even look at the people who are getting sick and, you know, they're laying in the hospital and they're having a difficult time, but nobody can come and visit them because all their family is working. Like they don't have the time to be able to go. And like the time that they do go, they're so run ragged that they're not able to be with that family member, you know? It's like, it really is a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't have a solution to this banter.
So sorry, listeners.
Maybe we can be like something happy. Actually, it's not happy.
Maybe go eat a banana and sit outside for 5 minutes before you have to go to work.
Right?
Sorry about it.
Honestly, I think a grilled cheese would do me a little bit better right now. Here's something. This is completely off topic, but I really wanted to get your take on it. Okay. Did you hear that Robert De Niro is having his 7th child and he is 79 years old?
Oh, wow.
Now, if that doesn't encourage you to go out and do the impossible, if you ever thought that you weren't able to achieve something, look at this man.
Right?
79 years old. Those balls should have dried up years ago.
Well, and I think that comes back to money. Money. No. Well, yes. But also just that timeline that we all think that we have, you know. By 25 you should be married or really close to marriage. When you were in high school and
planning your life, okay?
Yeah.
What did you have in mind? Like, because I know we always thought that we were going to like meet the love of our life at 19 years old, married by 21, kids by 22, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not that early, but I just remember 30 being like, if I got to have that before 30.
Yeah.
And now it's like, but why? Like, why do you have to have children? Okay, biologically, maybe, yes, it's probably safer to have it before 30. But with the resources and stuff and that we have now, like, people are having kids closer to 40 now.
Oh, yeah.
And also, how are you affording to have children at 22 years old? I don't understand that.
You have to move to like small areas where rent isn't insane.
Yeah.
Or live with your parents.
Yeah.
And that was okay. Yeah. This is we're getting right back on topic of like the insane expenses. I was at my chiropractor last week, and we were talking about like the cost of living in Toronto, and he was saying how back in the day everybody would live with their parents. I'm not sure what his background is, but it was definitely not a Caucasian background.
Yeah, not
So, yeah.
You're out when you're done high school.
18, you're out the door.
Yeah.
Get out there, kid. Yeah, and so he was saying that, like, when he was growing up, like, it was a live with your parents until you are at a certain age or you have a certain amount of savings, and then you go and buy a home with the person that you're marrying, and, like, the person that you're married to, you're already married to them when you're living with your parents. Like, that's the way it goes, right? Now, it's kind of transitioned that when you get married, you two live with one of the parents. I think it's usually the husband's or, like, the man's family, I think. And then you save together to buy the house, right?
Yeah.
So, like, even that's transitioned a little bit because the cost is it's just out of control.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, okay.
Depressing. I remember seeing a house come up in Toronto. I was like, oh, it's only $1 million. That's actually pretty cheap. And being like,
Right.
The fact that I just said that.
The fact that I just said $1 million doesn't sound completely out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like,
the fact that...
And that's cheap for Toronto because now they're like 2.5 and like...
Yo, there is condos like in our neighborhood and they say starting at 2.4. Starting at 2.4.
Yeah.
That's the 500 square foot place, by the way, that doesn't face a view. That's a north facing, zero sunlight coming through your window, no window in your bedroom, baloney.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 point... Get out of here.
Yep.
Get out of here. Like, you almost have to hope for, like, insurance money to be able to achieve something.
Yeah.
But you know what? Robert De Niro having kids at the age of 79, maybe there's hope for us to have a home.
I'm going to hold off for kids until I'm at least 70.
You know what? Yeah.
Then I can be retired and stay home with them. Don't have to pay for childcare. Maybe he's on to something.
Maybe he's on to something.
Maybe you just really wait. Save all your money. Be retired by the time you raise your children.
Could you imagine having grandchildren of your own and your dad just had a child? Like,
yeah.
So if you had grandchildren, so that means somebody was calling you grandma, and your brother or sister is 1 year old and you're a grandma. What does your grandchildren call their great uncle? Would that be? I don't know.
Yeah.
That
also,
lineage.
Who takes care of that child when you die? Does that go to your child?
Ooh. I don't know.
Is that just a burden on your older children?
Right? Because I mean, I don't want to like speak ill of like people who are older, but like at 79 years old, like you're seeing the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah.
Like, this
Unless
is when,
you are
like,
very, very, very healthy, but I mean, 100's kind of
the
max there.
Yeah. Like, maybe if you get to like 107, you know?
Yeah, but then your 10-year-old child is taking care of you in the senior home?
I
How
mean,
old is his wife? How old's the pregnant lady?
I don't know. Okay, so I see two people. There's
Drama.
Grace Hightower from 1997 to 2018. Oh, the person's name is, I think it's Tiffany Chen. Oh yeah, okay, so Tiffany Chen is the girlfriend right now. I don't see pictures.
That's not at all what I expected her to look like.
Is she young? How old is she?
I mean, she's probably in her, like, probably closer to 40.
Okay. Oh. I would say she's probably like mid to late 30s. We should be able to find. Hang on. We're doing that thing on the podcast that I hate doing.
Where we try to figure out, figure out the facts.
Wait, it says that she's 64 years old.
What? Excuse me?
What?
No, I don't think that's her.
Yeah, Tiffany Chen and Robert De Niro. Oh, age difference. The film producer Tiffany Chen is 64 years old.
Whoa.
And is not at all associated with De Niro. Okay, that's the wrong one. I don't know. I can't find this information on the fly for us. This one says that she might be 45 or 46. We're gonna go with 45.
She's a secret girlfriend. She's not.
She's a secret girlfriend.
A public girlfriend.
Yeah. Speaking of relationships,
Yeah.
the day that we're recording this
Yeah.
is mine and Fernando's 2-year anniversary.
Aw.
Happy
Congrats,
anniversary.
those kids.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Ooh, killing it.
I know. It was really funny because when we were at the staff party, and people are like, so how long have you and Fernando been together? And I was like, well, in 37 minutes, it'll be 2 years. And they're like, what?
Aw.
Yeah, it's really funny. And then I had one of his coworkers, his partners, was one of the people who was asking, like, how long have we been together? And I was like, or like 17 minutes ago, it was 2 years. And he's like, wow, you want to know how long me and that person over there have been together? And I was like, no, thinking like 14, 20 years, like that. He's like, 4 months. I was like, oh my goodness. But then they backed it up with we're still in the honeymoon phase. And I was like, yes. Okay, cool.
It's funny
So
when you ask people, like, right at the beginning, they're like, 2 weeks. I'm like, oh.
Oh my gosh. It's so
Talk
awkward
early.
because you're like, I think you both, when people first start mentioning that they've been dating for like 2 weeks or like that kind of thing. And I guess this would be like when they're at events with their significant other. I think you both have that like, that thought that like, oh, so this still has time to not work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's a point in every relationship where like, I think it's the love moment when like you realize that like you have fallen in love with this person and you decide as an individual that like you're going to work through issues or conflict or miscommunications. Like there's an ability to want to fix something.
Yeah.
Right? But like prior to that, there's like that, if this person does anything wrong,
Right?
to the curb.
Isn't that strange how if you're like looking for someone and you're like, oh, they do that? No way.
Absolutely
Big red
not.
flag.
Yeah.
And then if they like start doing that or you've like learned that they do something like that and you're like, oh, that's fine. Like
I'm okay with this.
it's kind of like when people are describing like their types and they're like, I would never date someone that does this. And then like they end up with someone like that. And I'm like, But how did that change? Like, how?
Yeah. What
changed?
what did you compensate with? Yeah, I agree. Um, this is okay. So we're nearing the end. We have to go. You have to go to work.
I gotta go. Unfortunately.
But before we do that, let's like play a little fun game.
Sure.
Okay. Let's say you had a kid. Okay.
Okay.
And this kid is 17 years old.
Okay.
Old enough
Out of
to
the
have
house.
a vehicle. Yeah. Get out.
Get out. Start
Done.
working.
Yeah.
Mama can't afford you anymore.
Yeah. I'm 97 years old. Get out.
I'm 97. Let me die in peace.
I'm 97. You're 17. Get the hell out of my house. Okay. So we'll say it's a son. Okay.
Okay.
And they have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And you meet the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And your son is like totally infatuated.
Yeah.
Like the Romeo and Juliet probably would drink the poison type of like infatuated with his girlfriend.
Gross. Yeah.
What would be some of the red flags in your child's dating person that you would be like,
that I would be like,
I need to talk to them about this?
I think, I mean, I would want someone who's like hardworking and wants to like proceed in life for themselves before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like have your career, have your thing. I don't want like someone just like living off of what my son would do.
There cannot be a number 2 without a number 1.
Right. Like both have your own, I'm very much like both have your own careers, have the things that you like to do.
Yep.
Be strong apart so you can even be better together.
Ooh, I like that.
You know?
Yeah, that's
like I don't think
poetic.
And Bianca and I've said this too, where like we shouldn't have to rely on each other to be good.
Yeah.
We shouldn't need each other. We want each other. That's, you know.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Dating advice from Michala. Can't afford a house. That's all right.
But we'll help you with your love life.
Yeah.
My red
like
flag
someone,
that I would have to talk to my son about, astrology. If this person is sitting at my dinner table and they start talking astrology at the age of 17, I'm going to be like, son, you're going to need to really put a magnifying glass on this.
I mean, I think you're going to probably come across that anyway because everyone's like that.
Are they though?
Yeah.
Is that becoming more and more of a thing as time goes on?
For sure. Yeah.
Astrology people just worry me.
Yeah.
There's too much. Too much of their life relies on it, and I feel like you should just be able to go and grab life by the balls, and you know,
right?
De Niro's balls, because apparently they haven't dried up yet. But you know.
But have you ever looked at yours and Fernando's? I guess you're the same. You're both Aquarius, right? Mm-hmm. And see the compatibility. Ooh, let's do it right now.
Think so. Yeah.
Zero compatibility. I'm just kidding.
No, I think that the astrology thing, like for dating, a red flag for me is if they were sitting at my dinner table and they weren't willing to engage in conversation or try to impress me, because I am the person that you're dating's parent. Like I'm their dad, and therefore my judgment on you should matter, because you're trying to be a significant other, right? So, and I think this kind of goes back to like the whole, like back in the day when you would, you know, ask the person's parent if you have their blessing to marry them, right? Yeah. It's just a respect thing. It's a respect your elders. Obviously I wouldn't be a turd to the 17-year-old that was sitting at the table. Like I would be a human being to them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if they were like not willing to try and build a relationship with me, then I would question. If they want to talk to me about my astrology, heck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, I mean, I think it comes down to, like, do you like the person before? Like, why are you focusing so much on, like, all these little stupid things that don't matter versus, like, do you like this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's our compatibility?
Well, it says, this is just a little line from it. Even if they're romantically involved, they'll feel like besties.
Oh.
Does that
Yeah.
describe you?
Yeah, that's really true. Because Fernando and I, like, so we had 2 weekends in a row where we had plans. Like, there's just something happening, right? 2 weekends ago, I think we went to a drag brunch and we were out with friends. And then I couldn't drink anymore and I had to go home and, like, vacuum and, like, de-allergy the apartment. And so I said to Fernando, I was like, stay with your friends, like, have fun, do your thing. You haven't seen them in a long time, so do your thing. And he's like, okay. And then he ended up not getting home until, like, later that night, and which was fine, not a big deal. And then the following weekend, we had Sasha Velour we went to go see last weekend. And so that took me out of the house from 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night or something like that. And so then we lost the majority of 2 Saturdays in a row. And this weekend, like this one that just passed, I guess, Friday, we're going to Cursed Child.
No, nice.
And really excited to go and see it. I'm very much looking forward to it. But I would give anything to not have plans just so that we could sit and, like, be in the same room, just us, and just like have our regular low-key weekends. Just whatever.
But you do that all the time.
I know, but, like, we missed it 2 weekends in a row, 2 weekends in a row, and I miss it.
Yeah.
And now, because, like, in the coming weeks, it's going to be very, very busy because his work is, like, there's events and launches and everything that's happening. And it's, like, a big deal. And so there's a lot of events and there's a lot of things that are happening. And so he's very, like, glued to the work life.
Yeah.
And it's fine because this is the time of year and I'm very used to it. But even, like, I have busy weekends too because I have work things that are kicking up. And so I'm like, I guess 2 weekends ago was, like, the start of, like, a 6-week busy semi-hiatus of, like, our regular lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. So I miss my best friend on the days when I'm like, I don't want to leave the house.
Cute.
Yeah. Anywho, that brings us to the end. We have to go. Michaela has to go to work.
Yeah, I gotta go. Ugh.
Last week's episode, technically, I think it was like the 94th. But because I've been uploading videos with the podcast, it says that we have 100 episodes on Spotify. This would be 101, but I will announce the 100th audio recording.
Cool.
Okay?
Love it.
Michaela Todd, if people are going to find you on social media, where are they going to find you?
Oh my gosh, you can find me at Michala Todd, and that's MICHALATODD. And where are they going to find you, Mike?
Well, if you would like to find me on TikTok, Instagram, I think Facebook as well, you can find me at M1C1515. That's Mike with a 1 as the I, because I'm so creative. Also, I have a super raspy voice today because I might be hungover. And if you would like to find Michaela Todd and Michael Jenkins on the exact same channel at the exact same time, you can find us at OK Hear Me Out. That's OKAY, Hear Me Out. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Thanks so much for listening.
And we will catch you in the next one. And I promise we'll not talk about De Niro's balls anymore. Okay.
But go out and live your life just like him, because he's killing it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing so much. So much.
So much.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.